It's here, guys, the long-awaited Spektrum Surface flagship radio system. I've got the new iXSR. All right, guys, let's start off by taking a look on the outside of the box. Actually, this outer sleeve here, you can see that the radio comes in a nice styrofoam case. I'll show you that in a second, but there's some important information here I don't want to skip out on. It's got an SR515 receiver, 5.5 millisecond frame rate on that, Hall effect steering and throttle mechanism, multicolor full LED accent panels that are on the outside, USB connectivity, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi compatible, DSMR, and it is left-hand capable, so that's pretty cool. Now, on the backside, here is some more important information. Just what's included inside the box. You get the iXSR transmitter, the 515 receiver, which I just told you, a 10,500 milliamp battery pack. I think the DX6R had like a 4,000 milliamp battery pack, so this one's got to give you a lot more life. It's a Li-ion. The foam carrying case, USB-C, mentioned that. 32-degree steering adapter, 5-degree angle adapter, additional stiff spring and for both the throttle and the steering. Left-handed door covers, and a quick start guide. Key features, what I really want to point out, fast Android powered touchscreen interface. We'll see about that. I've already fired this thing up. We definitely got to talk about that one. Full color 4.5 inch screen, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi compatible, 12 switch trim knob options for programming, USB-C and SD card compatible, smart technology compatible, the accent lights, left-hand drive, AVC and MS6S compatible, so you could use this with the Pro Moto bike. 250 model memory. I don't think I'll ever fill that up. Customizable model setup, audio vibe, and drag race launch control. That's pretty cool. All right, let's get this sleeve off and take a look at the box, see what you get inside. Here's what it looks like. Basic styrofoam case, and it's got a handle on one end, 2 clips to hold the lid secure, and just pop that up. And inside, you're gonna get your quick start guide. This has really basic information, guys. Basically, you're just got to start this thing up and start fiddling with it yourself. But there is an instruction manual you could go and access, and you can get the full details. Again, that just gets you going. Inside, you're going to find there's that USB cable. It's got the USB-C plug there, so you can go plug this right in. If you got to do any updates or transfers, anything like that, you can use that plug, charge the battery pack. There is your SR515 receiver. And then this bag here, this has all of the accessories. You got the hand grip, which is actually a bit larger than the one that comes on it. You get a smaller steering wheel. You get the angled plates for the steering wheel. There's the springs in there and the doors if you go switch this thing around to the left-handed drive. All right, now here is the radio system itself. Very cool looking radio, different from what we've seen before in comparison to the others. This is an all new case on this. Almost looks like it was resin printed or something. There's like a little bit of texture on the back, but good looking radio. Now the thing is, the thing I noticed right out of the box when I took this out is this thing actually weighs a lot. It's like over 700 grams, which is considerably more than the previous radio systems. This one's got some heft to it. But again, good looking radio system. I like that they've just gone to these gray graphics instead of the bright orange that the Spektrum stuff is used to having. A little orange on the outside of the box, obviously. And actually, when you turn it on, this Spektrum logo here will light up orange on you. There's definitely a lot of trim knobs on here. I think, what was it, 25 different trim knobs in total. And you could just see all the buttons all over the place on this, all around the steering wheel, down here by your thumb. We've got a turn knob here, and this looks like a multi-function switch. This is where you turn it on in the back. You got your left and right buttons, and there's your doors. So that's where you're gonna go pull this off. If you're left-handed, you go take the wheel assembly, put it on the back side. Down here on the bottom, there's your USB port in the back. The battery door is closed off. It's got some screws in there so it's secure. Then I'm gonna spin it around here, and it's got this little LED sticking out of the end plate, and that actually turns on. That's a function that you could turn on. So if you're driving at night, you need additional LED light. That option is there. Very cool. The spring tension feels pretty soft on this out of the box for both the steering and the throttle. The throttle is adjustable. They give you different plates to put on this depending on your finger size, so it just makes everything comfortable. The spring tension is adjustable with some screws, and they do give you more springs. But let's get this thing powered up. So this is the other thing. Besides it weighing a lot, it takes a very long time for this thing to fire up. I mean, I think it's almost 30 seconds before you get to some of the Android screens, or you could go to Google or your Gmail, or into the programming. So that's a pretty long time. And if you just let it run its whole course, it's like almost over 45 seconds before you could get to a screen where you could tune it. So, where they say it's ultra fast, not for startup. When you're actually into the system and using it, yes, everything is fast, but the initial startup screen takes a really long time. And there it is. You could even Google search all that stuff. You got some functionality to go dip into, but I'm just gonna get right into the Spektrum programming. See if I get some glare off of it. And again, still going through some startup stuff here. And finally, we get into it. So it's got a multiple screen setup. You got your dashboard, you got your setup screen, and then your monitor screen. And you go scroll through all these. It's basically like a tablet screen. Let me just go into the setup mode here. And this is where you're gonna get all your functionality. You're gonna access it all through here. There's models set up, there's app settings. In the app settings is where you go for your manual. But just back here, I just want to show you really quick. You go to the monitor, you can see the throw of your steering and your throttle and your different trims. Now let me go back, you hit the setup again. And let me just run through this really quick. So steering, this is where you're gonna get all of your steering functionality, from your endpoints to your steering speed and curves, all that important stuff, even your sub trims. And then you hit the back button. You do the same for your throttle. Basically all the different functionality for throttle that you could possibly want is there. I have a button for alerts that you could do voice alerts and tone alerts and vibrating alerts, and you could have for all the different trims and functions. When you're doing your timer modes and stuff, you got your audio events. Again, you could change all that stuff, all your warnings and everything. Binding, that's where you go and set it up to your different receivers. You can change your frame rates. And then you get into the drive modes. Remember, Spektrum has different drive modes depending on the type of car that you have. You could change it out easily through here. You could even color code everything. Launch control, this is for the drag racing guys. They were marketing this as the all-in-one system, and this is kind of what they're talking about. This radio is good for drag racers, it's good for rock crawlers, it's good for monster truck drivers and boat racers and everything. So this radio is really going to take care of everything from what I could tell. LED lights and brightness, this is where you could turn on that light on the front face. There it is, pretty bright. And you could actually change the sidebar colors here. So you can see I've got mine set to blue, RC driver blue, and that lights up these different there's rails on each side that lights up with that color. So you go change it out, just kind of customize things. And then your mappings, I believe this is where you go and set all of your different trim functions depending on what you're using. And then mixing, again, you got a car like, let's say a four-wheel steer car that you want to set mixing up on. You could do that there. Different sleep modes, cancel out on that one, your timers, that stuff's for the racers. And then down in here, let me go into models setup to show you that really quick. So this is where you go in and set up your different models. Again, up to 250. Can I back out of all of this? Actually, why don't I just run through this really quick? It's got all the different Spektrum receivers inside, even down to the telemetry stuff. It looks like even some of the older receivers I think are in there. Yeah, you can set up telemetry. You choose electric or gas or nitro car. It's probably got some fail-safe functionality. Single motor, dual motor, single steering, dual steering. So yeah, this really, you can really define what you're running and set up every possible feature that you want with one of these radio systems. So let me just see if I run through the rest of this. Setup complete. And yeah, there we go. I'll back out through here. And finally, wanted to show you this. Here's the app settings. This is where you could go in and change your username. Just a bunch of other functionality. Debugging, I guess that's like your firmware update and stuff. And then you get into Google Play, and right down here is where the manual is. And unfortunately, I have this radio so early that it doesn't link to it on the website. They still have that blocked, so nobody finds it by, a happy accident. So anyway, I wish I could give you guys some more information, but I don't have access to that. So that's why I can't give you some more specifics. But anyway, this is basically a quick overview, and I'm seeing some really good stuff, and a couple little things that are kind of bothering me. Again, It's very heavy. I think for those of you running long mains, this might get a little heavy while you're running. And definitely that startup screen, I wish that was a bit quicker. But as far as just, the cool factor, the ability to, run through so many different functions with this thing, I think they really thought of everything. It's a comfortable radio, as far as grip is concerned. I like that it's left-handed compatible. My son is left-handed, so I'm definitely happy to see that, in case he uses this radio system. But so far, it's looking pretty good. The proof will be when we get to go out and test it. Again, this one is just going to be an overview, guys. And definitely hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the follow-up.